This isn't another AI will ruin us type of fear-mongering video. I think we've seen enough of that. We have seen all the bullshit around how the game is changing, how everything is going to be different and we all have to prepare, and then people plugging their courses. So whatever I'm sharing here is truly just based on my own experience being in the messaging content creation space for the last 3 years, helping authentic creators, heart-led coaches, and the conversations I've had in the business spaces I'm in and whatever I've seen across the internet. I do believe that there hasn't been a time where the world needed conscious creators, truly purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are here to help, who are here to change the world, make a real difference in the collective consciousness than right now. But there's still a huge disconnect between these authentic creators who come online, who share their stuff, may struggle with building their brand and getting in front of the right people, getting seen by their dream clients, and then struggle with conversion rates and really keeping up the pace that they create content with, because it can be truly upsetting to see all those creators who are just copying others and they use already proven frameworks and all these copywriting techniques to get the attention and then turn that attention into dollars. The truth is, and I've seen it 9 times out of 10, when someone says they are an authentic creator, what that means for them is that they are winging it in their content, leaving dream clients, still in the consumption mode, scrolling, thinking that they know the answers just because they consume free content, because their messaging either speaks to fellow creators who completely understand what they see and they agree with them, they leave comments about how they agree 100%, or to people who just want to consume content, they just want to be entertained, and not to actual buyers who just need some trigger words so they take the next step. My student landed a €2,400 client with just one piece of content using one of the frameworks that I teach inside Impact, my messaging membership, which is why I felt compelled to share this video. And then you're gonna see this video is gonna be turning into a series for you, helping you to keep showing up with your authenticity, with your message, with your truth, with your story in an era where there's gonna be 10,000 pieces of content per creator fighting for people's attention, and on how recognizing this is probably the most important part, because you may not recognize what truly makes you unique in the online space, and then leveraging and mastering the skills that make you inherently human and inherently you. So selling doesn't have to be about forcing, convincing, or even pushing people, but it actually magnetizes people, get closer to that buying decision, which is why I created magnetic messaging. Now, I took a break from creating videos and I slowed down my content creation process over the last few weeks because I needed to reflect. I was asking myself questions like, do conscious creators and purpose-driven entrepreneurs still need help with messaging, with their communication skills in an era where they can just type up a prompt and then get 1,000 content pieces in 5 seconds? Is there still going to be demand for authentic content creation when there's going to be all kinds of AI tools that will optimize for all the platforms and use all these storytelling techniques and copywriting techniques to keep people's attention and then learn from the data to create better and better and better content? And I believe, and I know because I've been asking around, purpose-driven entrepreneurs still need support, because the way we communicate, the tone of our voice, when we slow down, when we speak up, when we speed up in anytime we tell a story, what we emphasize, the different words we emphasize in a video or in a podcast, or just simply our style of speaking, being unbothered and unapologetic, the messaging we create through the specific words we choose to use so that we activate the right people to take that next step, and the unique containers we create in our offers are going to be more important to focus on than ever before. Even though content is gonna be most probably, even for purpose-driven entrepreneurs, AI generated over the next few years, people won't buy from robots or from random AI people. At least I hope we won't get there. But we'll elevate your messaging, bringing that 1% that you're here to focus on, here to serve, will be inviting people to have more experiences with what it feels like to be working with you, what it feels like to get value from you in a way that shows them the possibilities. And I'm thinking of live webinars where you truly get to be yourself instead of just playing a video of your AI avatar. A community where you provide a space for people where they can connect with, learn from, or even supported by other like-hearted individuals with shared values, with shared issues, problems, and a shared vision for the future. Or messaging in a challenge, in a video series where you kind of show them that they can actually do stuff. You give them the opportunity to build that self-efficacy that tells them the next step isn't that scary to take when you invest in your transformation. And all of that requires messaging, potentially messaging that AI won't be able to as accurately and specifically nail as a human being, as a conscious, purpose-driven entrepreneur who truly knows their audience, their ideal soul client, inside and outside. Messaging is nothing but an invitation. An invitation for someone who is aligned with that message, who is aligned with the issues, problems, challenges, opportunities, values, everything you share within your brand. A lot of these different elements are what I teach in my program, how to nail and make sure that we use all across our channels so that the person gets to make a decision, whether it's deciding to sign up for a webinar from content, whether it's signing up for a discovery call using your content, or even clicking that link and investing $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 in their transformation. All of this requires specific messaging. And I no longer want you to keep guessing at what should I say so I don't sound salesy, I don't sound like I'm trying to sell something, but at the same time, when I say that, the right people eventually want that link, get their credit card ready, and pay for that transformation. The whole point of, and the reason I created my messaging membership Impact, is to help purpose-driven entrepreneurs know what they can say on a webinar, in a challenge, in an email sequence, or anywhere where they are selling, so they don't have to keep guessing at what will work because they have proof. So today, as the first of this series of how we can thrive with authentic content creation in the age of AI, I wanted to talk about the ultimate skill that we need to step into. And it's you unapologetically shifting perspectives at the blink of an eye. And if the thought of it already makes you cringe, or you feel like, yes, but Chubby, I've been doing this. I've been watching your videos, seeing your content for the last couple of months or year, and not much seemed to be changing. We've got to talk. Because I've been a messaging coach over the last 3 years, and I've worked in industries like language learning, which was my first industry, my first business, and I talk about this a lot in my experience in a previous video. But I've also helped somatic coaches, people who work with energy, and even with creators who are in the business space, like they are helping business owners build soft skills. And what I find 95% of creators do is they create consistent content about the problems, the challenges, sharing advice, insights, or information about what their ideal client, their soul client is facing. They share the next strategy or a big explanation on what's going on, the next blueprint, without giving people an emotional reason to be invested in why that thing or why that strategy really matters, and how applying that, which could be part of their program, could be life-changing, and then post generic truths or some sort of controversial or polarizing idea that people might comment on, and they say, thanks for the reminder, this was really helpful, or something like, I agree 100%, but then they keep scrolling past and nothing changes in their life. What these creators don't get, what these disconnected creators don't get, which was something I used to struggle with, I think it was for about 2 years when I was first starting to post on Instagram, was that this all speaks to the conscious mind. Of course, most people know that everything is possible when we are disciplined, or that we can only achieve something in life that we feel like we deserve, or that consistency is an important skill that will eventually get you somewhere faster than intensity. These are things that people are consciously aware of. What they are not consciously aware of is if they themselves are consistent, disciplined, or focus on a certain set of skills, build habits that would then get them the results. And not only does this type of content. Like, there's information everywhere. Let everyone in your audience, and they're paying faster even more, it's also a massive disservice to those who are ready to buy or just a few steps away from buying, because you might be hiding your offer, you might not be speaking to the specific problems that they could resonate with or inspire them to take that next action, because you're not using specific language that then would activate them to say, now it's time for me to take that next step. If this is happening, you've been posting for a while, you've even been sending newsletters at least once a week, and you feel like no one is clicking, you're not getting more leads or more people signaling that they are interested in your offer, you don't really know how many people are already hot leads so that you can talk to them and then pitch your offer, you may overlook where people currently are with their set of beliefs, what they have been consuming, and what other coaches, bullshit advice, or outdated industry norms they've been exposed to that may impact the way they think or what they believe, what specific behaviors or habits they currently exhibit, or how they respond to certain events in their life, like what's going on in their romantic life. And I think this is probably the most important, what they are already aware of and they are still unaware of when it comes to finding a solution to their problem. And I truly believe to my core, and you've heard me talk about this, but authentic content creation in the age of AI needs to be both authentic and intentional, thinking about the neuroscience of communication, how your message, your words land with the right person. Basically, speaking in a way, communicating in your content throughout your messaging, whether it's at a webinar, in a challenge, in an email sequence, or whatever you choose to sell your stuff, in a way that your soul client who's meant to be in your stuff processes that information. Because most creators never think about that, because randomly saying what you think you could help with, or randomly creating an offer that you think would be useful or you think that they need, instead of focusing on what they want, where their attention is at, and then speaking to that level of awareness, which I'm sure you've heard before, is like having super powerful and valuable seeds, but then planting them in soil that just isn't recipient to that. You can have the healthiest seed, your messaging, your ideas, the offers you've created, your unique set of skills. If the soil isn't prepared, as in maybe it's too rocky, or it's just not nutritious enough, or there's too many weeds or parasites, no matter how healthy, how amazing that seed is, it's not going to grow. Likewise, if your content isn't tailored, and nowadays this is more important than ever, specifically and accurately to the emotional and psychological soil of the right segment of the audience, even the most powerful, most magnetic message by the most good-hearted, purpose-driven entrepreneurs simply won't take root and then won't bear fruit. So instead of all that information and insight-based content that you see a lot of creators still create, what we can focus on, if we want to target people who are not just there to consume content, but they actually want to learn more about themselves, they are more insightful, they have the critical thinking and the self-awareness, the responsibility to say, this is me and I'm ready to take that next step, I'm ready to dive deeper, is the type of content that simply speaks the truth, that goes against, as harshly as possible, what they believe, so that you get their attention and they feel like you're shaking their world up, just like in those snowball, whatever they're called, thingies. So at the end, you get them to say, I've never seen it that way. So what we've been working with my clients on, and this is what got more than €2,000 deal for one of my clients, is starting with something that simply goes against what people believe. Like uncovering those core beliefs that truly hold them back from the transformation. And it could be something like throwing more money at courses when you've already spent like $30,000 on courses isn't gonna get you to $50K per month. Avoiding difficult conversations with your wife doesn't make you a better husband. Being that nice, hardworking employee is what ruins your potential to get that promotion. We've got to truly embrace our truth, and this is what a lot of my students get a lot of support with coaching and a lot of tools around so they can build the nervous system capacity to truly own who they are. Like anyone who ever joins my membership always gets to learn more about not just the strategies I teach, but a lot more about who they are and who they can step into so they show up as a leader. Like I'm never gonna promote or sell anything that doesn't get you to learn more about yourself or help you on this whole journey of self-discovery. So we get to be in a space where we can stay calm and relaxed but still share with people our truth, unbothered how that's going to affect like 90% of the haters or any person who doesn't feel aligned nor has the willingness to learn something new just because they heard something that goes against their beliefs. So if you haven't been posting content around this, or you haven't been doubling down on sharing perspective shifting content truly from the heart, not just because people told you that you need to be polarizing, reflect on this, let me know in the comments. You can write a DM to me on Instagram. What are you afraid of? Because to me, trying to be kind and nice and supportive all the time in our content, when we know people just need some kick in the pants, they just need someone to truly tell them what they are struggling with, encourage them to take that next step. To me, that's not heart-centered. That's self-centered. Isn't it more selfish to focus on how people will judge me, what people will think about me when I show up, or what will people think if I fail so I don't experiment enough with different types of content, whether it's starting to record videos, short forms, long forms, or any other thing that you might be considering but you still haven't taken action on, so that you get to be seen by the 1% that you are here to serve, that you are here to elevate to that next level. Just because you're afraid of the rejection, the criticism, the judgment you would get from that 99%. Isn't it self-centered to be ashamed of an offer that we built, knowing that we are truly heart-centered, that we put everything we could that was humanly possible into that offer that helps someone, but then not promoting that enough, feeling ashamed that I'm selling, or feeling any sort of ick around letting people know that yes, there is a solution, and then building a world of value throughout our messaging so people actually see that value and we don't need to keep convincing in the DM. Something to reflect on if this resonates, and if you have any thoughts, just let me know in the comments. I was very happy to reply with a couple of encouraging thoughts. But this isn't enough though, because we see controversial, polarizing content on a daily basis. That doesn't mean that's part of that type of authentic content creation in the age of AI that I'm talking about. People are kind of immune to some of those controversial ideas, not just because they sound the same, which is why messaging and learning how to teach and how to communicate so you set yourself apart is so important, but because in that moment when you've already shaken up their world and they are like starting to question that belief, that's where you have the opportunity to become that lawyer who uses powerful, magnetic, persuasive language. So at the end of that content piece, webinar, masterclass, or even a mini program, people would say, thank you so much. I completely look at it from a different perspective now. I changed the way I think about it. Here's my money. There's an entire video here on some of the most powerful ways that you can also build a case for your statements. Like whenever you claim something controversial that goes against your ideal client's current beliefs, again, what we want is move beyond that and then show people how what they believe isn't true. It's less about making people feel like they are shit or that, you know, proving them wrong, but really about showing them that what they believe isn't the truth. For them, it shows up as the truth. Your job is to show them that that isn't true at all. Get your notebooks or notes app out and take notes on whatever you hear in that video. Powerful soul-connecting communication isn't just about authenticity. That's, I think, what adds an extra layer to your already existing communication skills. Because selling ultimately is about getting people to feel a certain way. Either a relief, like, oh my god, why did I believe this for so long? Or feeling a desire so that they actually see that there is a solution out there that exists to their problem. And show me anyone who was able to convert because they were using overly complicated expert lingo when they were describing their clients' problems. They were using some of these spiritual upspeak like reconnect with your higher self and I help you find your divine feminine. No one wants to sign up for a course to reconnect with their divine feminine. That might be what they need, but that's not what they will sign up for because that's just fluff. It's way too complicated for the human brain. That's usually at the comprehension level of like a 5th grader to a 7th grader for them to see clearly that this offer is safe for them to invest in. So tell me what you think, what your predictions are, because none of us truly know. Always take even what I say with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying only my truth is the truth. And I believe that the future of authentic content creation in the age of AI belongs to those conscious entrepreneurs who truly understand inside and outside what their soul clients' struggles, challenges, desires, values are, so they can speak to that and find the right language to activate the right people, how to communicate to them so those current existing beliefs are weakened and we can finally invite them on that next step where they can explore more about how what they believe is the thing that holds them back, not the lack of information, and build a world of value so their soul clients actually see the value in their transformational offers that is no longer hiding on a portal or a website where no one sees it, but selling it is actually infused in their authentic content. So watch out for a couple of more videos on some of the most important soft skills, human skills that when we double down on and we truly master, it's going to help you set yourself apart from everybody else who's yapping and it's just a noise in the online space, so you can truly build that soul tribe that feels uplifting to serve because you created with the power of your words and the power of your messaging. So you get to build that soul tribe and not just build but serve people, your dream clients. So running a purpose-driven business doesn't just feel like something you have to do, but something you are excited to wake up to and focus on every single day, which is honestly my goal with my content to help you with. Now, as always, let me know your thoughts. Was this helpful? Are you looking forward to this series? What are your predictions about AI, the future of internet even? Because I have some of my doubts about that too. And of course, see you in the next video where we'll be diving deeper into how to focus on authentically infusing your empathy, your compassion in your content.